My schedule. It's actually 25 minutes to the 7 o'clock mark right here in the studio at 90.3 Voice of the People FM. My name is Precious. An amazing evening it is, right? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, welcome to the Evening Rush. And you know what we do on the Evening Rush? We get to look at, bring you a recap of stories that have been trending, what you have been talking about, and what you have been saying today. And of course, we also give you a voice to, talk your own now. You share your own mind and also say your thoughts, share your thoughts and reactions to most of the stories. So we'll be looking at a couple of stories today. First, in the news today was that INEC has delisted or deletes 2.7 million for double registration, and this particular topic has caused a lot of controversy. So we'll be looking at it in the course of the show today. We'll also be looking at the case of issue-based campaign. Is it really necessary? So far, so good. Since campaign started on the 28th of September, are we seeing that? And of course, third on our list today, you remember the young lady that died inside the BRT bus, right? Bamise, right? We'll be looking at her story because we'll have a bit of an update concerning her story too. And then we move to the next segment of the show from 8 o'clock, where we'll be bringing you a bit of bizarre and weird stories. Do you believe in myths? Do you believe in the mystical? Do you believe in the supernatural? Do you believe in all of those? Because we have something happening. Some traders recently, remember that the Balogun market caught fire again. A section of the Balogun market was on fire on Sunday evening, and then some market people on Tuesday morning staged a protest against a particular trader. Say, evil woman, you must go. You're causing us a lot of harm. Why so? So they're probably they are suggesting a lot of things, which may suggest some sort of mystical or supernatural powers. I do not know, but we'll get to look at those too on the show today. So you see, it is fully packed. Welcome to the Evening Rush with Precious on 90.3 Voice of the People FM.
Every day strike, ASU strike, market women strike, even kole people they strike. We don't become control striker.
Even light self, you know, if you give us. Don't run from motor. Even leg self, you get accident.
Why una they complain? Why una they complain? No una they collect bribe, they vote Chokoloko Bango share.
Ìṣèjọba tó dára, òun là ń béèrè.
Anyị chọrọ ọchịchị onye kwuru uche ya. Anyị achọrọzi ọchịchị nchigbu.
Ala ndeze teme ka muna so mekio.
What do we want? I made the rule us well.
Don't take it for noise. It's the people's voice. They have made their choice. Respect that voice for all to rejoice. VOP 90.3, Voice of the People.
It is the Evening Rush with your girl Precious and 90.3 Voice of the People FM. So the Independent National Electoral Commission on Tuesday said it had detected 2.7 million cases of double registration carried out during the last continuous voter registration, and that the affected persons have been deleted from the voter register. So this particular story did raise a lot of uproar. People are saying, why deregister everyone? Well, let me take that story further so you understand it. So the INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, disclosed this at a National Endowment for Democracy event in Washington, D.C. in the United States, where he is at the moment. The spokesperson to the chairman, Rotimi Oyekomi, confirmed the development to our correspondent, or to, the correspondent of the newspaper where I'm reading this from, which is The Punch, by the way. So the chairman, who raised concerns about security challenges across the country, assured stakeholders that the commission will do its best. In fact, in his words, he said, it is a perennial issue because at the end of the day, it is not new, but the dimension of the insecurity is new in the sense that in the past, it was localized or confined to, a particular part of the country, the Northeast. But now it is more widespread. Those were his words. Still quoting him, we are keeping our eyes particularly on the Northwest and the Southeast part of the country. Elections are conducted by human beings. We worry about the security of our officials, materials, and even the voters themselves. Without them, elections cannot be conducted. So the chairman added that the commission has spoken to the security agencies and they have assured us that the situation will improve before the elections. So far, so fingers are crossed. That's what he's saying. So we keep fingers across. So people are saying, why would INEC deregister or remove or delete a whopping 2.7 million votes? Now, in the last election, which is the 2019 election, which attracted about 35% of voters, we had about at that time we had about 84 million voters that were, registered voters at 2019 election. And out of the 84 million voters, we had about the president Muhammad Buhari won by 35% thereabout, with about 15.1 million votes, right? And then and his closest counterpart, who happens to be from the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, did win with about 10 point something million votes. So you begin to wonder, if you remove a whopping 22.7 million people from the number of registered voters, that could make a significant change, to the electioneering process. So that's the question. People are saying, INEC should actually have some kind of sophisticated equipment that will ensure that people don't even register, don't do double registration in the first place, right? How about giving us some equipment that will ensure that, if I go to register again, your system would already tell me that I've been captured before, so I cannot register again. How about that? And some others are saying, how about enough sensitization? I even went to the angle of thinking, some Nigerians actually, yes, INEC had, did very well by ensuring that time after time they keep intimating Nigerians and telling Nigerians that you do not register twice, right? So if you had registered before, perhaps you've lost your cards, you've lost your PVC, that is, or maybe you've changed location, all you need to do is to go for a review of your vote center, more like it. So you change where you have to vote, and you probably will pick up a new PVC if you had lost the previous one, and not to register again, because your data is, your biometrics is already in the database of the INEC, of the commission, as it were. But you know how we are. Some people with coconut head. For me, I make excuses. Some people can genuinely forget because of health issues or stuff. And if they do they have to face, the stiff penalty of being removed or expunged from the voting list because of that? However, I did have an interview with the INEC commissioner in charge of voter education and information, Oga Festus Okoya. I prefer to call him Oga, or Mr. Festus Okoya, as you would like to address him. And he did actually throw more light on this. In his words, he said these people were not deregistered. No, these people, the double registrations were only deleted. He said, in fact, as a matter of fact, there are people who even registered more. There were people who registered more than once, more than twice, some even 2, 3, or 4 times, right? So what happens is that they only would retain your previous registration, and then they can get back, and you can use that previous registration alone. So the subsequent registrations you had made after the previous ones would be deleted. And that is to say that if you did register again because maybe you changed location, that means you may not be able to vote in your new location now. You'd have to probably get back to where you are. I would like to play, that interview so you get a better perspective to this. And then when we're done with that, we'll come back to the conversation. It's still the Voice of the People, FM 90.3. And of course, your girl Precious is here on the Evening Rush. We are talking INEC deregisters or deletes 2.7 whooping million registered voters. What do you think about that? Let me let you know that the phone lines are open. You can join in this conversation. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to reach us with this evening. 0700 903 903 903. You can also do us a WhatsApp message on 0700 903 903 9. Do us a WhatsApp message on 0700 903 903 9. I'd like to take your thoughts and reactions on this. But before then, let me quickly play this interview between, I probably may be breaking it, at intervals, and then we'll analyze it and get back to it with the INEC Commissioner for Voter Education and Information, Mr. Festus Okoye. Here is the interview. 2.7 million electorates deregistered by INEC, and that's because they said they had dual registration. So I needed you to confirm this. Then before I go ahead with the follow-up questions I have and what people have been asking.
Yes, we declared 2.7 million registrants as invalid registrants. Yes.
Okay. Is the reason because they registered twice, as seen in the papers? Double registration.
Yeah, some of them did what we call multiple or double registration, and some of them got into the and some of them got onto the register through dubious means. So that's why we rendered their registrations invalid.
Okay, sir. So some people are asking that going ahead to deregister them without probably cancelling some of the multiple registrations, wouldn't that be disenfranchising them? The question is, an entire 2.7 million people have been deregistered because of one registration lapses or the other. Wouldn't that be disenfranchising that huge number of people? That would make a lot of difference in the election.
No. I think that we must get the scenario right and get the trajectory right. Before the commission flagged off the continuous voters registration exercise on the 28th day of June 2021, we already had in the docket over 84 million registered voters. Was meant for a certain category of persons. One, it was meant for those who have never registered before, who have never registered in their lives. Second, it was meant for those who attained the age of 18 as at the date of registration. These were the only two categories of persons that were obligated to register. We maintain an electronic voters register with the names of all those who are already registered. So if you have lost your PVC, the only thing you need to do is to approach our registration officers or go online and report lost PVC, and then we print a new PVC for you. If your PVC is damaged, you report damaged PVC. We print a new one for you because your voter identification number is already in our docket. If you want to do transfer from one state to the other, or from one local government to the other, or from one polling unit to the other, you do transfer, and we will transfer you to a new polling unit, cancel your previous registration, and issue you with a new permanent voters card indicating your new polling unit. That's exactly what people were obligated to do. So the registration we did between the 28th day of June 2021 and 14th day of January 2022, we found out that 2,523,458 completed their registration. Out of this number, only 1,390,519 were valid registrations. And out of this number, 1,126,359, representing 44.6%, were double or multiple registrants. And what we did was to render invalid their double registration, thereby leaving intact their previous registration because they are already registered voters.
Okay, so it's not that you cancelled. It's not that you cancelled all their registration entirely. You just removed the double one, the duplicated copies of registration.
Exactly, that was what we did. We removed the duplicated one and left their valid registration as valid. In other words, if they register, for instance, in Lagos and then move to Ogun State and registered again, we cancelled the registration that was done in Ogun and left the one that was done in Lagos, which is the valid registration valid.
Okay, so there is a few concerns concerning this, right? We will definitely get back to that interview with Mr. Festus Okoye, the INEC Commissioner in charge of voter education and information, giving us, breaking down the entire story about INEC delisting or deregistering about 2.7 million voters. But you did hear from him directly right now that they were not totally exposed expunged from the voters list, right? What they only did was to remove the duplicated registrations. That's all that was done. So I'd like to hear your reaction on this. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to reach us with this evening. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, are you hearing me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. How are you doing too?
I'm okay.
What's your name, sir, and where are you calling from?
Mr. Darlington speaking.
Mr. Darlington, you're welcome.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure you came across this story today. How did it make you feel?
Festus Okoye and INEC chairman are not telling us the truth.
Why do you think so?
This discovery was made by CUPP chairman Ugo Chinyere. He was the one that discovered all that they did. In the first place, Precious, for you to do what they have said now that they discovered, somebody has to give a password for you to enter the portal and register. It was an INEC officer who did that.
What do you mean by somebody has to get into the portal to do
Now,
what's
if
said?
you are registered somewhere, for you to go to another place to register, somebody has to facilitate it, and it must be an INEC official.
Of course, you have to go through
It cannot be possible for you to do that. It can never.
But the man, he never suggested that people went to register on their own. I mean, he said that people.
Registration.
Yes.
Precious, wait. Maybe you didn't see the press conference given by these people. It was after that press conference that INEC went to work and started releasing this thing now. In fact, it was mostly done at the mass local government in Imo State.
So what's your argument exactly, sir?
What my argument is that it is not possible for anybody to do double registration.
Why do you think?
Of INEC personnel. I was expecting Okoye to tell me that their officers who facilitated this thing have been arrested. That's what I want to hear.
Okay, so I think at this point I have to play the concluding part of that interview.
Yes,
it's a whole lengthy interview.
Who facilitated that thing? This double registration he's claiming. That the foreign names are imported into our electoral process.
It's quite lengthy. I just wanted us to take it bit by bit, but I think at this point I'm going to finish it off.
How did those people get into the portal? How?
Okay.
Individual cannot do that.
Okay, thank you. He never said an individual did that anyway. I do appreciate your thoughts, Mr. Darlington. Thank you so much for calling us. But he never said that an individual did that. What he said is the fact that, I mean, in the first place, double registration is actually a crime according to the Electoral Act. That's what he said. And then he went further to say that people consciously went to register more than once, knowing that they had registered before. I'm going to play you all of that interview, but let me take some more calls. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, a very good evening to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Chinedu.
Your name is what?
Chinedu. From Kenya.
Chinedu, welcome. Very quickly, what's your thought and reaction?
Concerning the situation, the last caller made a mention that it's not possible for someone to register to do the double registration. I want to categorically let you know that it's possible for you to do double registration.
Okay.
Because when the server, at the INEC, because they're supposed to produce a machine that will detect that somebody has registered before. Since that machine is not possible to detect that somebody has registered before, it is possible to see a double registration. That is my solution.
Thank you so much. So answering your question, during this interview with Mr. Festus Okoye, he did say that actually they do have a technology that can identify if someone had registered before. However, it will take a lot of time for that machine to dictate during the registration process. It's only when it gets into their server that it's easier to do so. So let me quickly play back that interview, from the beginning, so we get a better perspective of it all. It was a report of about 2.7 million electorates deregistered by INEC, and that's because it said they had dual registration. as so. I needed you to confirm this. Then before I go ahead with the follow-up questions I have and what people have been asking.
Yes, we declared 2.7 million registrants as invalid registrants. Yes.
Okay. Is the reason because they registered twice, as seen in the papers? Double registration.
Yeah, some of them did what we call multiple or double registration, and some of them got into the and some of them got onto the register through dubious means. So that's why we rendered their registrations invalid.
Okay, sir. So some people are asking that going ahead to deregister them without probably cancelling some of the multiple registrations, wouldn't that be disenfranchising them? The question is, an entire 2.7 million people have been deregistered because of one
information and misinformation.
Exactly.
Into engaging in multiple or double registration.
Exactly.
But I want to make it clear that double or multiple registration is an offence under the Electoral Act. And it is a very, very serious offence, and people must realize this. What the commission did was that we imported and installed what we call automated biometric identification system in our systems. It reads both the fingerprints and the facials of individuals. So the moment it identifies multiple fingerprints and your face, it automatically removes you from the docket. And when we are not sure of the process, we do what we call manual adjudication. In other words, we bring out your previous registration and bring out your present registration and match them. So our system is robust and our system is top notch. But there's a possibility. I'm not putting it on record. There's a possibility that we may publish the names of all the double and multiple registrants, and nothing prevents the commission from proceeding against them, because what they have committed is an offense. The only challenge is that the number of persons involved is overwhelming, and the commission may have to go and build its own prison to accommodate those who will be convicted if we decide to proceed against them.
I understand that totally. So sir, there's been a couple of other concerns. People are saying that, there are some Nigerians that have mental health issues like dementia. They may not even know that they had registered before, and they go ahead and say, oh, INEC registration, they go back to register again. Shouldn't there be a system that once somebody whose data has been entered before gets back to the system, the data will be automatically cancelled? Would your system will automatically dictate that this person has been registered or the person's data is captured in your system? Moving forward, is there a way this kind of system can be incorporated to avoid such future double registrations?
I like the question in the way you put it. For instance, if somebody has dementia,
exactly.
Now our registrators are trained properly to detect these things, because the law obligates us to also engage in desegregated registration. In other words, if somebody comes before the polling unit and the person is blind, we have to record that the person is blind. If the person comes, because we have to make provision for people who have sight impairment. If the person is on a wheelchair, we have to also record that the person is on a wheelchair, because we have to make provision for such an individual. If the person is leprous, we have to also make provision and capture the person's facials only, and then make provision and record that the person has leprosy and so on. That is what the law obligates us to do. So our registration officers will know if when somebody who has dementia comes to register. So that is an isolated matter.
Okay.
But a situation where somebody has registered before, just because the person wants to cheat the system or the person wants to beat the system, the person comes to register again, and then you ask the person, have you ever registered before? This person says, I have never ever in my life registered before, and then you proceed to register the person only to find out that the person was just lying, that the person is engaging multiple or double registration. That is completely unacceptable. What is the challenge? What is the problem? When you get to the physical registration center, the presiding officer, the registration officer will ask you, what is it that you want? Do you want to do transfer? Have you lost your PVC? Is your PVC is defaced? Are you a new registrant? There's no challenge with this. If you say you have lost your PVC, then the registration officer will open the model for lost PVCs and then schedule you for a new PVC. If your PVC is defaced, the person will schedule you. If you want to do transfer, the person will schedule you for transfer. If you have never registered before, the person will schedule you for a new registration. If you say you are not sure, we have our officers that we have trained in what we call non-biometric issues. They will isolate you, and then they can even use your mobile phone if you have an internet to check, to key in your number, and your data will pop up. Because at this moment, there may be over 1,000 persons on the queue, and the registration officer cannot spend 30 minutes and so on and so forth with just one single individual. So we isolate you and then check our system to see whether you have registered before. If you say you are not sure, so but if you go before a registration officer and outrightly you lie, there's absolutely nothing we can do about it.
So sir, what I mean is that, for instance, I have a line from a mobile operator registered already, and I go back to say I want to register. If they ask me if I have up to 5 lines from them and I lie, they would know from their system once I put in my biometric, because it will reflect.
Why should you go before? Why should you lie?
I'm just saying.
The point I'm making is that the law says that you should not lie. And that if you have
some people may not even know. Some people may not even know. Sir, you know that a lot of people don't even know about this law. I know that ignorance of the law is not an excuse in law, but some people don't even know.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. If there was a way INEC could ensure that at the point of registration, they can dictate that from the beginning of the input of biometrics, so that it can just stop. You send the person back. We can see your biometric here, go back. Is there a possibility of that in the future?
No, there are two things here. There's the moral angle and also there's the legal angle. At the moral level, why should you go before a registration officer and lie? When you have registered before, what do you intend to achieve by having 2 permanent voters cards? What do you intend to achieve? So at the moral level, you have fallen short. At the legal level, you have also fallen short, because you are trying to cheat the system. You are trying to beat the system. So why should you go before why should you now assume a moral high ground when in actual fact you are not supposed to assume a moral high ground?
While I understand that is very nasty and bad, but are we really now the possibility of acquiring any technology that can help us dictate these people from the beginning at the onset?
No, it is not as if we don't have the technology to detect that from the onset. The challenge here is that if you go before the registration officer and say, I am not sure whether I have registered before or not, we isolate you from the queue, and then we use a different, just a mobile phone to check whether your name is already in the system, so that the line can move smoothly, so that registration can proceed. It's not as if the IVET, the INEC voter enrollment device, cannot be used to check whether you have done multiple or double registration. It can be used, but at that point in time, when you have over 1,000 people on the queue, you cannot spend 30 minutes on one registrant alone, and that's the point I'm making. So if you come and say, look, I'm not sure, we isolate you, and then we ask one of our officers to use his or her mobile phone to check whether you have registered before. You can even do it on your own if you have internet services on your phone, because we have provided
the platform on your website.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so sir, moving forward now, you are telling me for sure that those 2.7 million people that were deregistered were not deregistered entirely. It was just their double registrations that were deregistered, or that have been deregistered.
Exactly. That is what we did. The double one that was deregistered, their main registration still remains valid.
Okay, and you're also telling me that there is a possibility that names like that could be published so that they know that this is their fault and they can go back to regain their previous registrations that may still be valid.
They know their previous registrations are valid. Look, let me tell you, before the Anambra governorship election, we did continuous voters registration. And out of the total number that registered, over 50,000 engaged in double or multiple registration. And we validated their multiple registration. None of them has complained today. During the FCT area council elections, the same thing happened. During the Osun governorship election, the same thing happened. During the governorship election, the same thing happened. The challenge here is that if anybody wants to assume a moral high ground, then we will invoke the provisions of the law, because we have a very robust abyss that detects your fingerprints and also detects your facials. So if you registered in Lagos and then you go to Cross River and go and register thinking that it will not detect it, it will just detect it, because the moment it is keyed in, your fingerprint will pop up and your face will pop up, and that is just that is just the issue.
Okay, so sir, recently there's been this news about people in markets in some parts of Lagos. We've gotten a lot of reports. Market people in some part of Lagos being forced to go to submit their voters card for one reason or the other. I want to know if that's something that is valid. Do you have anything to say about that? Because we've got a lot of multiple complaints about that. Honestly, I don't know if you've heard this before.
Look, our main remit, our mandate is to organize, undertake, and supervise elections.
Okay.
Our remit is also to register persons who are legally qualified to register, to update the voters register, and revise the voters register for purposes of registration. The moment we register you and we issue you with a permanent voters card and you go home with that permanent voters card, the law expects you to hold that permanent voters card, because that permanent voters card is not supposed to be with another individual. So if you go and trade with your permanent voters card, or you go and do something illegal with your permanent voters card, and we find out, the law will take its course.
Okay.
So people who are trying to do things that are untoward, those who are trying to do things that are not valid, those who are trying to do things that are in violation of the law, should know that they are violating the law. And those who are encouraging them, or those who are aiding them, or those who are accessories after the fact of crime, should also know that they can also be proceeded against. So people should not engage in things that are immoral and illegal and expect the commission to be running after them.
Okay. So, sir, since you're the person in charge of INEC voter education and information, is there a complaint line that Nigerians can call to pass out information directly to INEC? There are complaints lines, but I don't have them offhand. But in every state we have a resident electoral commissioner. Okay. In states where we don't have the resident electoral commissioners as today, we have administrative secretaries who are in charge. In every local government, we have an electoral officer who is in charge. And we have electoral officers in all the 774 local government areas of Nigeria. People can walk into any of these offices and lay their complaints. And then we also have lines through which people can complain. The only thing is that where I am now, I don't have access to those lines, and I don't have them offered. But can we reach those lines from your website, sir?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Okay, so if we go to your website, we can access the lines that we can use for complaints.
Definitely, yes.
Okay, thank you so much for putting a perspective to this, because a lot of people are actually misinformed. People are of the opinion that an entire 2.7 million people have been deregistered, but it's good to know that they are just double registrations that have been cancelled, and not that they are totally deregistered.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for obliging me your time, sir. I do appreciate it. Thank you. I may be disturbing you more often now that it's election. I hope you won't mind, sir.
Make you disturb me when I come back. But make you as you don't interrupt my sleep. I'm a high chief. Interrupt the sleep of a high chief is a serious matter.
I will get a male goat. A male goat, sir. A male goat. I will buy a male goat, sir, to pacify the gods.
A male goat, but it has to be green.
How can I chase a green goat in a green grass? Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. All right, Lagos, there you have it. The interview that I just had, a full interview more like, with the INEC Commissioner for in charge of voter education and information, Mr. Festus Okoye, putting in perspective to the 2.7 million delisted or deregistered voters. That's as of course published in the newspapers today. And a lot of people have had concerns about that. I hope that you do understand clearly the position of the Commission right now. Does it make sense to you? I have a caller on the line. Hello, good evening.
Pretty precious.
How do you know I'm pretty? Good evening.
Yeah, it's something I was expecting you to ask INEC spokesperson.
Oh yeah, forgive me. You can ask. We'll always ask him another time.
He told you that they have a technology that would dictate this double registration.
Yes, sir.
Who now facilitated these ones to be possible? Who?
No, you don't understand. So he did mention that technology would take a lot of time.
Somebody, hold on.
It would delay other people on the queue. That's what he said.
You know that this thing is hacking to your ATM card in the bank, your BVN.
Exactly.
Good. So when somebody appears before an INEC electoral officer, you open the portal, and the registration is going on. Won't you see whether this person has done it before or not?
It's easier to be dictated when the information is already in their database. However, did you also hear him say that double registration or multiple registration is an offense according to the Electoral Act? Did you hear him say that? Meaning that those who indulge in this are committing a criminal offense.
Hold on. He has just rewarded criminals here by allowing them to still be on that INEC register. Telling me that the original registration is still valid, the other ones are cancelled.
I mean,
you have rewarded them. That is what you have done. You have rewarded them.
All right, thank you so much. So I think INEC is doing their best right here to ensure that they have an all-inclusive election where everyone is given the possibility and
no. If you have committed a crime, are you not supposed to go and serve their time? The people in Kirikiri, are they complaining? Are they not there because of what they did?
Unfortunately, because of the volume of people, we don't even have enough space in the prisons to even do that. So I appreciate you, sir.
That's not enough.
I appreciate you.
They should have disenfranchised them as a lesson. That's what I'm saying.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Mr. Darlington. Please, let me move to another caller.
Possible. They should have called out his name.
Thank you.
Somebody facilitated that registration.
Thank you so much, Mr. Darlington. I do appreciate you. Hello, good evening. I have someone else on the line. Good evening.
Good evening, Precious.
Very good evening to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Arinze Ikechukwu, calling from Agoda Surulere.
Welcome, Mr. Arinze. Go ahead. Let's hear your thought and reaction.
I want to tell you that everything Mr. Okoye said is just fallacy.
How so? How can he say that?
Now, you ask me a simple question. At the point of registration, the moment you put your birth date, whether you are lying or not, whether you lose your former one and you want to do a new one or you have it and still want to lie, the moment you put your date of birth, it will pump up every details about you. Now, at this junction, why are the people at the point of registration not cancel it? Double registration cannot hold without an INEC official affecting it. INEC has always
did you hear, if you listen to the interview very well, you would have heard where he said that it would take a lot of time in the registration process to dictate that because of the kind of technology they were using or they are using. So it's easier detected after, the process. Because they would have to keep other people on queue for too long to be able to detect that. He already said that in that interview. So if you did listen very well, you would have heard that part. Yes, sir.
Precious, I'm telling you, it's not true. Now, take for an instance. I lost my registration card with other documents, of which I went to court to sworn an affidavit. Now, when you go to their registration point, there's always a paper. If you have a defense one, there's a form you need to fill. If you have, if it's about lost INEC voter's card, there's a form for you to fill. And before that man there at Shaki Crescent, my area of vote, I just put my name with my phone. The moment I put my name and date of birth, every document concerning me appears.
I understand that. I understand that totally, but I just explained to you. It doesn't stop the fact that it is what it is at this time. But I think that we should actually glorify in the good news that these people were not totally deregistered, that they were rather that their double registrations were only cut off and they are not totally deregistered. I think that should be a good and cheering news for all of us.
Look at this way. There's a contradiction now. between what the INEC chairman said and what Mr. Okoye is saying. Man, how can you do away with 2.something million voters cards in the name of delisting them? At the point of discovering that there was double registration, why not delete others and leave one?
No problem. But he did. That's what he did. He deleted others and left one. That's exactly what he said. That these people were not expunged totally from the voters register. Their multiple registration was rather deleted, and the very first previous one they had is only maintained in the register. That's what he said. And I think we should cut them some slack. They're doing okay. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir.
If I have changed location from my former place abroad to a new place, and I need to update my INEC card, now I want to update it. Now, which one are they deleting? Are they sending me back to Imo State where I come from?
Exactly, that's what they're doing. They're sending you back to your original. That's apologies, sir. Thank you so much for your thoughts and reaction. I do appreciate you. Thank you. All right, it's still Voice of the People FM right here, 90.3 FM. Okay, so I did tell you initially that I have a guest in the building who will be discussing this topic with me and probably other matters. And we've taken a lot of time with this anyway. But I also like to introduce you to my next topic, just so you know that we're not just looking at, INEC delisting about 2.7 million voters alone. We're also going to be looking at issue-based campaigns. So campaigns have started. We started hearing some buzzwords. In all of that, we also started hearing some stuffs about what they would really do, what this presidential candidates will do for us. So let's look at the need for an issue-based campaign. Let me quickly take this caller, come back and introduce my guest. Hello, good evening. Did I lose that caller already? All right. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello. Okay, so I have with me in the house Mr. Kunle Wiseman Ajayi. He's a unionist, a poet, and everything. He's like Urishirishi put together. Kunle, good evening and welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Apologies. I mean, Lagos traffic took the best of you this evening.
Yeah.
So, would you like to chime in a bit on this issue, the issue of the registered or delisted candidates, or the fact that the double registrations were what exactly was deleted from the INEC registrar?
If we are very sure that INEC is deleting those who doubly registered, I think that INEC is on point.
I think so too, because I mean, we just I think there's a kind of mistrust in the system, so people don't just believe things anymore. Because clearly, with the interview I had with the INEC Commissioner in charge of voter education and information, he clearly stated that people misconstrued the situation. What exactly happened was the fact that the system, or the commission rather, only deleted the double registrations and left your very first registration that you've ever had. So if you had registered maybe in Alagbado village before, and then you relocated to Abuja and registered again, right? So the registration you had in Abuja will be deleted, will be taken off the system. Your registration in Alagbado will remain valid, right? And I did ask if there's a possibility of, ensuring that there's a kind of register of all of these names, so that they know that, I am part of those who registered twice, because some people clearly may not even remember, honestly, that, right? So if that can happen, and he said, well, they'll look into that possibility, which means they're actually doing their best to ensure that people do the right thing. But that some of us have coconut head.
Yes, but
we need to hear what.
But political parties are also supposed to be playing some roles.
Okay.
For instance, political parties are supposed to demand that INEC gives us evidences.
What do you mean by evidences?
People register twice. They should publish it in a public newspaper.
Well, they've agreed that they will do so. They will look into it.
Yes, let's hope that they do so. And aside that too, there was an agitation of people who had registered online and were not able to do capturing before the D-Day. That's a major demand that INEC should look into. Because it is for me, it's against a lot of rules of democracy, and because we need to allow a lot of Nigerians, especially highly agitated youths, to vote. So we should demand that INEC publishes the list of those who registered twice, so that people will know, actually I registered twice. Then it won't be because there are issues that some people feel that they had done transfer. So if that is not a part of it, so they should be able to put that online, and then on a public newspaper. And then the second thing is also that we feel that INEC should allow people who had registered online and are not been able to complete offline. They should allow those voters.
How will their biometric be captured? Because you must be there physically for your biometrics to be captured.
Yes, because they couldn't capture because of the D-Day, because it elapsed.
But they are overwhelmed.
I agree. But
INEC is overwhelmed.
I agree, but those who have done online should be allowed to finish their biometric.
All right, Lagos, remember you can still chime into this discussion. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to reach us with. 0700 903 903 903. You can also send us a WhatsApp message on 0700 903 903 9. 0700 903 903 9. We've been talking about the importance of issue-based campaign all along, right? And there is no gainsaying that. We've heard all the buzz. I don't think there's any election that will be as heated in terms of war of words as much as that of 2015 so far in the history of Nigeria. So we had that battle with words and all that. But in away from all of those mirage, if I have to say that, what is the importance of issue-based campaign? I'd like to hear your thought and reaction on that.
There are several issues bedeviling Nigeria today. These issues are issues that an average Nigerian is suffering seriously from.
Can you help me hold your thought? Let's see if we can take this call and come back to your thoughts. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
A very good evening to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Please, I want to ask one question.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
My name is Mohammed from Mafoluku.
Mohammed, you're welcome.
Yes, please. That is in Kogi State. That is where I come from.
Okay.
So my tenor told me that he's registered the very date of voting. So he went to polling booth. They couldn't give him his permanent voter's card. So all this time they hide a PVC. They just gave him one, and the one they give to him is his own.
Mm-hmm.
So after voting, they demanded that he should bring it back. He told them that this is my voter's card, this is my own. So I don't know how that one is going to be collected now.
Nobody should have the right to ask you to return your voter's card. It's never done. It's not done. It's your personal property.
That's what he told me.
It's your personal property. I think we need to look into that further. Maybe he's not
so
clearly
if
stating
you can get in touch with any of the INEC officials, you tell them that this is what is happening. So how are I going to collect those things?
You probably should also send me further details about this, because it's not doesn't look like your question is clear. It doesn't look like this whole situation is clear yet. I'd like to have full details of the situation. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So we're talking about issue-based campaign, Mr. Conley.
Yes, and as it is today, before that's why I'm very happy with the Electoral Act, at least to a bit. Before you have an election where after primaries it takes just about a month or two before elections and Nigerians rush into election. The newspapers, the media determines how we vote. They tell us what to do. They miss out on the real issues, So Nigerians now have ample time. They have about 7 months to ask the real issues, to ask the real questions, to let people know that yes, these are the things we want. We want education, we want healthcare, we want social welfare, and they are going to be making serious debates.
So Nigerians are already asking that questions, but in the midst of some of these candidates answering those questions, we'll see get a bit of buzzwords, like the fact that you can labor till you die, your termites, and this one answering these people that stop blaming PDP campaign with what you have done so far, stuff like that. So the jabs are still coming back and forth, right?
You
how do we do away with the jabs and focus on the reality, so that because these jabs seem to distract the voters. So people are rather taking sides. Oh, this person is at fault and this person isn't at fault, right? So how do we ensure we stay focused with issue-based campaign?
Yes, actually, I'm also a very focused person, but a debate is not interesting without jabs.
Oh wow.
You get it?
So like a little bit of buzz makes the world go round, right?
But the difference between comedy and farce is that in a farce there are no issues. In comedy, you raise issues and mingle them with laughter, spice them with laughter. You understand what I mean? So there are some parts of this debate that you find them just saying things that are like, especially those who do not have content, especially candidates who have very bad history. Instead of them to defend themselves, they prefer to go on to use their so-called structures to shout, to say a lot of things, to shut people down, to gaslight generally. But as it is, the coast is getting clearer. People are coming to answer questions. People are coming to answer to issues. So Nigerians won't take any more of people talking on issues anymore, or people telling us things that we cannot verify, things that we cannot come up to say, okay, you actually did this, you actually did that. If you look at it, for the first time, there are some people contesting that have contested before, but they didn't really get their real history when they were contesting in those days. But now they are getting their real history. Nigerians have been able to dig very deep and very deeper. So in this election, only the deeps will be talking to the deeps.
Only the deeps will be talking to the deeps. Like as the phone lines are open, 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Precious.
Yes, good evening to you. Thank you. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. My name is Chinedu Bichuku.
Okay, Mr. Chinedu, welcome.
I am visually impaired.
Oh wow. Well,
I did my registration on February 17th at the Porto local government. So I want to know if my card is ready. Will they inform me? And where will I go and is it at the same point where I registered?
Okay, so let me get your question clearly again. Where did you say you did your registration? Ikotu local government.
Ikotu local government on February 17th.
On February 17th this year, right?
This year.
Your card should actually be ready this month. Between now and November, you should be able to pick up your card, right?
But
However,
it's not yet ready.
Well, we can't tell. It's actually supposed to be ready. So we have had a lot of we've had INEC say that they had mentioned that they would do their best to see how they can inform people, because they have your information, so they can do a text message for you to go pick up. But where they do not do that, because let's cut them a slack, they're a bit overwhelmed at the moment. I think you should go to check, because for everyone who registered between February and June should have theirs this month of November. So you should go check. At least
I asked this question.
Why so?
I had the chairman say that by November the new card will be ready. So I want to know whether that November is it all of us?
For November, really, we're looking at those who registered late from July. After they had stopped registration on the 30th of June. So they're looking at that for those who registered from 1st to 30th of July. Yes. So for February should be ready already now. So I think you should check.
I should go to the same point where I registered.
Exactly. The same local government where you registered, go there to pick it up. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you so much. All right, phone lines are still open. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to reach us with. It is Voice of the People FM. Let's take a little break. I'll be right back. We are also looking at issue-based campaign, as well as INEC delisting 2.7 million voters, even though there is a better perspective to that information now. But let's quickly take a break. We'll be right back for more of this. Stay with us. It's the Evening Rush with your girl Precious. I'll be right back.
This is the #1 radio station at VOP 90.3 FM. If you're looking for a place to relax and find comfort, the right place to be is the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, we offer excellent services to our clients and customers. We serve high-quality wines at our restaurant and bar, while our continental dish is conformity with international standard and best practices. We accord priority to security for all our guests. Breakfast is free.
That's how I do.
Yay! And we have standard facilities for your seminar and training. For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-7003-333.
Ice on my neck, ice on my wrist, that's how I do.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender Greeters, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36, Lagos International Airport Road, beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
Every day strike, ASU strike, market women strike, even people they strike. We don't become conscious strikers.
Even light sef they no fit give us. Don't run for motor. Even leg sef dey get accident.
Why una dey complain? Why una dey complain? No una dey collect bribe, dey vote Sokoloko Bango share.
ìṣèjọba tó dára òun là ń béèrè. anyị chọrọ ọchịchị onye kwuru uche ya anyị achọrọzi ọchịchị nchigbu. ala ndeze eteme ka mụ na so n'ekio.
What do we want? I made the rule us well.
Don't take it for noise. It's the people's voice. They have made their choice. Respect that voice for all to rejoice. VOP 90.3, Voice of the People.
You are listening to your the number one station, the Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Do not touch that dial.
90.3 Voice of the People FM, still with the evening rush with your girl Precious. Yes, we've been looking at a couple of issues this evening. We looked at INEC delisting about 2.7 million voters, and of course we're also looking at the importance of issue-based campaign. I did have a voice interview with the INEC Commissioner in charge of Education and Information, Mr. INEC Ukui, who did put a perspective to that that thought or that story, and stated that people need to be calm. The fact that people were not totally expunged. The entire 2.7 million people were not expunged from the voters register. Rather, they only removed their double registrations. So, I mean, you are still a valid registrant. If I have to say that, you're still a valid voter in Nigeria. However, if you did register elsewhere before and you knew very well, and you now moved locations and went to re-register again, I'm sorry to blow your mind. You have to go back to your former location. If it's in your village, that's where you have to go back to register to cast your votes this time around. So just to put a perspective to that, so I think that's quite clear. Well, the phone lines are still open. We're looking at issue-based campaigns. So campaigns have started. I mean, news creeping in this evening. We had a story of the Labour Party announcing their campaign cancel list, right? And first off, there seemed to be a lot of a bit of let me just use that in the mix. People saying that okay, there seems to be a bit of trouble in paradise because I mean the party has been quiet, so we just hear the voice of the presidential candidate and his own team, and not the voice of the party itself. So it seems like this wahala is just going around all the parties somehow. But in all of this, where is issues? How do we address the real concerns of Nigerians? How do we ensure that we hear the right things from these people who are coming to say they will lead us again? I have Mr. Kunle Wiseman in the building, and he's been helping us, put a perspective to that. So let me quickly just take this call. I'll come back to, share your thoughts, Mr. Kunle. Hello, good evening. Hello. Oh, yeah, I lost that already. So, Mr. Kunle, back to you. We're still looking at issue-based campaign. How important is this?
Very, very important, because it helps to determine how people perform when they get to government. And that's why we used to insist on a manifesto. If you look at it, this current government came to government without a manifesto, but with several promises. And at the end of the day, in fact, the first thing they did when they got to government in 2015 was to start denying those promises.
Why? Because they weren't written anywhere.
Yes, because there was not a manifesto.
Let me quickly take this call. I'll come back to that. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. It's Voice of the People FM. My name is Precious. What's your name, please?
My name is Benga. I'm calling from Oshodi.
Mr. Benga, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear your thoughts.
So I have a question for you.
For me?
I just heard you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I just heard that you made mention that whoever that those people that their name have been listed from the portal, yeah, and the previous registration they did is valid. So does it mean that, and you said that they have to go back to the previous location to cast their vote? So if they relocated to another place, does it mean they have to go back to the previous one? So where is the place of the location of voters card?
Okay, so let me say this clearly. First of all, it's important to note, according to the information I got from my interview with the INEC Commissioner in charge of education, voter education and information, double registration or multiple registration is a crime according to the Electoral Act, and that is a law now because it's been enacted, right? It's now an act. All right. So if you know that you had registered before and you go ahead to register again, it's a crime. However, if you registered before, you perhaps lost your PVC. What you ought to have done is to go and say, oh, I lost my PVC. They would go through, they'll just impute your information and print out another PVC for you. Secondly, if you changed location, you didn't need to go through the process of registering again. What you needed to have done was to tell them that, hello, I was living in Lagbaja village before. Right now, I have moved to Oyedikachi village. I need to be able to vote in my new location of Oyedikachi village. And what they'll do is to simply change your voting center where you should vote. So you see, it's still valid. So for those who were deregistered are people who defaulted. They knew that they had registered before and they went ahead to register again. So they had more than two or two and above number of their registrations still in the system, and that's the ones that those are the registrations that were cleansed off the system.
So if I get you right, it doesn't apply to those who do a transfer of.
No, if you went for a transfer, it won't affect you in any way. But however, if you try to do that transfer out of the seats by going to register again from the beginning, I'm sorry, brother, you'll be affected.
Okay, I get you.
Thank you. Does it make sense to you?
I think I get you.
Very well. Thank you so much for calling. I like questions.
Live on YouTube.
Oh, thank you so much. I do appreciate you. Thank you very well. Thank you. Okay, so moving on, I think I have a few messages here. Let's see if we could quickly do justice to that. So I've got this that says, I got my PVC some years ago in the East, but now I'm in Lagos and I have already requested a transfer from Enugu to Lagos. I'm yet to get a new transfer PVC. Piva from Oshodi. Piva, if you're sure that you went to do a transfer of your PVC, you should go check the center you did that. It should be ready. So that's what it is. If you're sure that that's what you did, it should be ready. And I have a few more questions, reactions from YouTube. So James Morgan from YouTube says, Festus Okoye, you wouldn't be in that position forever. He never said he would be. Come on, you guys, take it easy. And then this says, Adex Benga says, so if you're saying that the previous registrations stand, right? Are you saying that people who have relocated will have to go back to their previous location to vote? Well, this is because INEC is even magnanimous enough not to take you to court, because you have committed a crime in the first place for knowing that you have an existing registration and you went ahead to register again. So they were magnanimous enough to say, okay, let me even leave your previous registration for you. So the stress you have to face now is you have to go back to your previous location, because what you ought to have done wasn't to register again, but to ensure that you just go and change your location. We self Nigerians, sometimes we are the problem of our own selves, so we can cause wahala for ourselves. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
A very good evening to you, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Ike Chukwu.
Your name is Ike Chukwu.
I'm calling from my Godasuru area.
Welcome, Mr. Rinza. Welcome. Go ahead. Let me hear your thoughts and reaction.
Let me tell you something.
Oh, yeah, they talk. I did hear you, sir.
Anybody will tell you say devil or evil no there. They deceive himself.
You mean
I'm telling you honestly.
Wait and bring evil for this matter now. Now voter registration with the talk and issue-based campaign. Ouch, Oga, you don't go. I want you to come back and explain the evil in voter registration and issue-based campaign to us. I'd really love to hear your thoughts and reaction on that. All right, the phone lines are still open. It's 0700 903 903 903. Before I go to my third conversation for the day, which is, by the way, one that saddens me very well, let me quickly just take some more messages. So, this person from WhatsApp says, good evening, I'm Chidi in Ikotu. Please, is the registration still going on because I don't have voter's ID? Oh God, registration has finished since now. Where have you been? Abba, stop coming late to party now. The party has ended. Shop have closed. Don't do this to us. You have to wait till after 2023 election. Yes, we know it's continued voter registration, right? But then, for now, so that they can prepare for the election, registration has finished. So all right, so back to you, Mr. Kunle. So we're looking at issue-based campaign now. People think that let me just ask the question clearly. Does antecedents have any role to play in issue-based campaign?
Very much.
Okay, what role does it have to play?
Because it gives people it said when you are beaten once and you are beaten twice, you get shy. So people know that if you come now to promise us that, for instance, a candidate says, I want to move from consumption to production, that's an issue. So Nigerians go back to verify, and they verified and seen that this person himself is one of the largest importers in the country. So with that cancels that particular request, because Nigerians will say, oh, you now want to move to production, yet you are one of those who is a gospeller of importation into the country. So that's a specific issue. It's just like somebody who tells you.
Don't you think the system enabled that in the first place?
It's not the system alone. It's that these persons were also part of the governance. They were part of those who says and who still continue to say that Nigeria government does not have business in business, and that because of that we should privatize everything.
Let me quickly take this call. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening to you. What's your name and where you're calling from? Oh my goodness, help me turn that.
My name is Kinde. 1 second, please. Let me turn on my radio. My name is Kinde. Good evening.
Hi, Kinde. Welcome.
Okay, I was going to call to, say something about what a caller said about wanting to change location and going to a register instead. But I loved that, you answered that question accurately, when someone else came up with the same thing. I think most of the time people don't really like being orderly and following, instructions. If you are supposed to go say you left your former place and you need a transfer or something like that, and you go there to say you are registering, maybe they feel that when they say they need a transfer, it take a longer time. They feel that let me just go and do it anew. That way I won't go through all of the procedures. And when they are now bounced, like people say, or when they are disqualified, they begin to say that INEC doesn't know what it's doing. I feel that we should appreciate the fact that INEC is doing their best to ensure that things go the way they should go. People don't trust this system at all, and it's understandable, but at the same time, we need some level of trust for any success to be achieved. I'm telling you, if somebody comes and makes this country heaven, some people will complain and say, does he want to become God? Why is he making Nigeria paradise? Yes. Is he taking over from God? That's how bad it becomes.
So it's like we have total disbelief in the entire system, right?
Yeah, the disbelief is just, it's just out of this world. Now, there's nothing you can do. And even people that are complaining, that a lot of them are very, very disorderly and disorganized in the way they handle their own things. Anybody who's organized will know what it means to have registered somewhere and have a reason to go transfer location. We just want to do it diligently and not be jumping the gun, going to start afresh, thinking that will make it easier. If anything must change, we ourselves must change. The problem is not as, it's not so much about the system as it is about us, about we, the people that are, running the system.
I agree.
The first time, I'm listening to the show.
Okay.
I just ran into it somehow.
Thank you. I hope you like what you hear. Thank you. Thank you so much. So what role do you think? Do you believe in issue-based campaign, by the way, before I let you
go? Certainly. Discussion should be issue-based. Fact, whatever anybody says, they must be able to substantiate it. And if they are throwing anything at you, you must be able to fact check to be able to fact check and be sure that that thing is actually true. You don't just take anything they say as they give it to you. I think this is a time when all of us have to be more connected to the internet and all of our resource materials for facts, so that when they say it, you check. Right now, you are not saying vote this or vote, for that person. You are just saying let the facts be accurate, so that we can be sure that what we are, actually believing in or what we think we are sure of is actually true. Yes, certainly there are no debates if there's no point debating, if they are not issue based.
So you don't believe in a little bit of violence to water the ground a bit?
If violence can be out of it completely, I think it's the best. Anybody who has facts doesn't have much work to do now. It's only the blind that would not see what's happening. If you love the government, you should be able to tell us the things that they are doing. And if you don't love them, you should tell us why. You can't just say that, paint everybody in the same brush and say this government has not achieved anything at all. Even the devil, there's something good about the devil, I believe.
I agree. Yes, I mean, he was a good singer. The much we know, he was a good singer.
Beautiful. Without the devil, holiness would have been useless. There would have been no point being holy if there were no sins down. And so you can't say that, there's nothing at all that this government has done. That's superlative.
I agree.
This government must have done at least one or two things.
I agree with you, absolutely.
May God help us. We just hope that
God will always help us, but remember that heaven would help those who would help themselves.
We will be able to help ourselves. God always helps us. Yes,
all right, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your call. Thank you so much for your call. All right, somebody, Obinna Churchill Izama from YouTube did ask for the phone numbers again. Is 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. Hello, good evening. You're going to help me turn down the volume on your radio set, please. Hello, good evening. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening.
A very good evening to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Eluka, calling from Lagos Island.
Eluka, welcome. You're on to Voice of the People FM. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think I want to say kudos to the person that spoke before your last caller.
Okay.
I think he tried to use the platform to market certain candidate, something like that.
That would be my guest. That would be my guest in the studio.
Yeah, your guest. He said something about somebody said he wants to turn from consumption to production. And you go back to check and you see that
he's
it's
one
not
of the largest
true,
importers.
That I don't think that is what issue based means. Issue based is about when you say this is what you want, this is what you want to do.
But that is also an issue because it's an issue that is not. You raised up something you said you do, and we'll verify that it's not exactly what it is.
If you're talking about antecedent, you talk about. Let's not confuse grammar here. We are talking about issue based. We are not talking about antecedent.
So you think antecedent don't have role to play? Shouldn't have a role to play?
It does. But even while reviewing antecedents, you don't pick one point and discuss one point.
Okay, so I actually have the guest in the building. It's better I let you to speak on it.
Please, my brother. Can I quickly ask you this question?
He's talking to you.
Can I quickly ask you this question?
Yeah.
If somebody in 2022 is promising you to move from consumption to production, and that person had a chance to be Anambra State governor for 8 good years, and the person did not build an industry that is owned by Anambra State, and instead put his own money into private business, is that moving from consumption to production?
Let me come in. Even in United States, even in the most industrialized countries of this world, there is still something that is called importation. You don't have to produce everything. Nobody is an island. And the trading is as old as humanity. International trading is as old as international community itself. So you cannot rule out importation in any given country.
That also is true.
But should that be the major orbit of the country's business?
Let me also take you to another perspective which you chose not to look at. This is the same person telling you that he has the capacity to turn from consumption to production, and he has shown that capacity even in the past. You know about B&V breweries. You know about international breweries.
Are they owned by Anambra State?
And they're producing, adding to our
But if you could
GDP.
own that personally, couldn't he actually bring that into the country? That's another perspective to it.
No. I don't agree with that because he had a chance. He had a chance to get Anambra State to get its own breweries. There have been states who.
We are talking about if you have the capacity.
My brother, do you know Bender breweries? Do you know Bender breweries?
To produce in your country.
Do you know Bender breweries?
To your country's GDP, not to their own country GDP.
I want to ask you a question.
Now, go ahead.
See, when you talk about the gross domestic product in economics, you don't talk about GDP without talking about HDI. In Nigeria today, we have a very great GDP to the extent that 5 of our multi-billionaires have enough funds to fund Nigerians in the next 30 years. With that, we are please cool down. With that, we are still deeply in mess because there is no HDI. So if a government invests only in a private business, the private business goes for profit alone, and that is why if you look at that investment, he said he invested $20 million.
But we're actually not here to cast aspersion.
Yes, I'm not casting aspersion, but he's raising an issue. I have to respond.
What are you trying? What
I'm trying to say is that what we need, the production we need is public production. That is what will bring human development in there.
If I can develop my personal business, I can develop a country's personal business.
No, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you.
I want to
because the thing is that today there are a lot of personal businesses that are highly developed. But our Nigerians develop?
No.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, now, okay. This is the man who told you that he has the capacity to industrialize your nation. And he's leading on, not like he doesn't have productive industry in the country. No, he has. He has. In fact, he brought them. And he said he will do more if he's given a larger scale to operate. So what are we saying here? Even if he says he wants to turn the economy from consuming economy to productive economy, he has shown the capacity in the past. The antecedents are there.
No, we have only $3.5 million left out of $12 million. That is a bad business.
That is your own opinion.
But it's the truth.
It is your own.
Is it not the fact? The facts are clear.
Which fact are you talking about? Do you have the
There was also a fact about the governor taking over from him, cutting down on the investment at some point or something like that.
If you have a candidate you are supporting, when you come on national radio like this, I don't think you shouldn't be partisan.
Why would I be partisan? Why are you partisan when you don't want me to be
partisan? If you are using the platform to promote your own candidate, then I will assume the radio station is promoting one particular candidate.
No.
Well, he hasn't even mentioned the name of any candidates here. So
of course, we know who he was referring to.
Well, but we don't know who he may be supporting. So that's the point. His body language hasn't tilted to anybody directly. So
I don't want to go into repetitive statistics of what the man has done. It is out there for everybody to see. But I just want to bring your guests to the notice that this man has brought some industries into the country. And he will do more. And he's still doing more.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for calling in. All right. Thank you so much for your calls, your thoughts, your reaction. I quickly just run on this story, right? Before we move to the next segment of the show. So I don't know if Kunle, you did remember. I'm sure you have a lot to say. You hold your thoughts.
No problem.
I'm not saying forever remain silent, but just hold your thoughts a bit. So I know you came prepared. Don't think I don't see the language. I know you came very prepared. So there's this story of, you remember the story of Bamise, the young girl who boarded the BRT bus sometime.
I was one of the first persons contacted.
Sometime in February, so the family came out this time around to say that the hospital has billed them over 500,000 naira for her mortuary bills. And it's quite pathetic. And according to them, they went to the criminal investigation department of the state criminal investigation, and they told them that they were only responsible to the point of autopsy. That after autopsy, the family should take responsibility, of whatever happens. However, they're encouraging the owners of the rapid transport scheme, the Lagos Bus Services, LBS, to take. What do you make up of that story, really? Because it's just a bit heartbroken that someone would lose a child and then now incur bills. Where would they get the money from to pay over 500,000 naira for mortuary bills? Even though that right now the Lagos State is saying that they would mandate or make ensure that the Lagos bus services takes care of the bill.
But this is one of the disadvantages of allowing people to use government platform for private business. Because if it is a government entirely owned bus, by now government will be taking care of everything. And the issue is also that this same government, the Lagos State government, also helped to undermine the case.
Well, how do you mean?
Yes, because in the first place, when the case happened, I was one of the first persons contacted as a human rights activist, and I knew the cousin of the lady. In fact, when she was still sending messages all to them during the distress
call, still looking for the girl.
They sent it to me immediately, and we had to go to press, talk to a lot of people, made sure we shouted about it. But it took almost 2 days for the lag bus people to even come out to say this is the driver, and the driver came back to drop the bus. This same lag bus does not even have cameras.
But why so? I thought all of the buses should have cameras.
It's embarrassing. If they have cameras, by now we should have the camera. So the government
know exactly what happened.
Yes, it's gross irresponsibility.
How is the case going anyway? Well, let me quickly take this call and then I come back to you. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, Precious.
Yes, sir.
Please, I want to ask a question.
Go ahead, sir.
P2B is into importation.
Are we going back to that again, sir?
Please, is it better for him to import goods and make money legitimately, or those who have stolen this country blind? Which one is better? At least he's doing something legitimately. You can trace his source of income. How about those who cannot trace their source of income? What happened to those people? Can't we talk about them? Somebody is doing something legitimately and you are complaining. What do you want him to do? Do you want him to go and be stealing money like others?
But putting government money into private business is not legitimate.
What are you talking about? Have anybody? Why is EFCC not housing a P2B like he's wanting all the other people?
Because EFCC don't go after big cases.
What are you talking about?
How many big people has EFCC sent to prison?
Precious.
Yes, sir.
You will do us a favor. Whenever you want to bring this APC supporter, because that was how they deceived us in 2015. They want to shove another unnecessary choice down our throat again. Don't allow this, so you must pay it. Let us debate it with them.
As a matter of fact, he's not even shown his party affiliation so far, and I'm not going to let him do that on live.
Why are you using must? That's tyrannical.
Thank you so much.
That's a tyranny. How are you using must?
Thank you so much, sir.
Can any of them match P2B's credentials?
I apologize, sir. Thank you so much. So let's go back to Bamise's case very quickly.
So on Bamise issue, the Lagos State government, for me, is grossly irresponsible. And if you look at it, till date, we do not have a camera. From where they even picked the lady till where the issues happen, they tell us that camera is all over Lagos. Where is the camera? Let's see it. Till today, have they been able to tell us who actually owned that lag bus? No. So for me, and very seriously so, the Lagos State government should take responsibility of the mortuary, of the bills. They should take responsibility of even the lady's burial.
Because the family is actually requesting that she should be giving a state
burial because that's it.
She died for the states.
Yes, Lagos happened to her.
What her
Nigeria happened to her. So I'm calling on Governor Sanwo-Olu to immediately take responsibility for both the lady's burial and even the compensations going to it. The Lagos State government must force the private profiteers who own that lag bus to immediately be responsible for everything the family has accosted. On the lady.
So the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Omotosho, had said that they would ensure that the LBSL, which is the Lagos Bus Services, would settle the mortuary bills and also take care of the burial expenses. However, he said that while they still sympathize with the family of the girl with what they are going through, that they don't expect them to bring out that kind of money. But then when the family is saying they should give the girl a state burial, what kind of state burial? Is it the kind of state burial where you put the flag, where you fly flag on half mast, because someone special died, or is it, the kind of burial where you perhaps, this is me paraphrasing, bringing the creme de la creme in the society to attend the burial? But in the real sense, what do we think should be the right compensation for a family who has lost a life?
Every human being in Nigeria is very special. That the lady even fought her way to expose the issue before she was finally killed. She's a hero. She's a hero of every girl child that is forcibly raped. She's a hero of every girl child Nigeria has continued to be irresponsible to. Because as it is today, Nigeria is unsafe, generally. But it is the women that are the most unsafe. They are more unsafe. So every caring government, every responsible government should treat the girl child much more special as it is today. So if they give her any, there are a lot of people who have stolen the country dry who are being given state burials. So what's special in giving her a state burial?
Thank you so much, Mr. Kunle Adewise. I mean, understanding that we celebrated the Day of the Girl Child yesterday, International Day of the Girl Child yesterday, I think that this your statement is quite up. Let me quickly take this call. This caller has just been on the line before I let you go. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening. God bless you.
Yes, good evening too. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Nena.
Nena, where are you calling from?
From Badagry.
Okay, go ahead. Just in less than 60 seconds. Let me hear your thoughts.
My sister, hungry because of this government. And people are not seeing that they are killing us, that they have killed us, dragged us. I'm a pensioner. But I carry it. I'm not living in my house. I'm living in a shanty.
Oh my God.
We are hungry. And they are painting on putting this Russian government again back to us. They won't kill us.
No, madam, nobody is painting this government to you. Nobody is forcing anything on you. I assure you. I'm sorry about this.
Hungry is casting us.
Yes.
Please, for that man that is here, send me money. I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
Thank you.
I can feel it too.
Mr. Kunle, you see what you caused.
It's not me that caused it, but the thing is also that I've met several pensioners. I'm very close to the pensioners union. And this hunger is everywhere all over the country.
My father is also a pensioner. I mean,
all
my
over
parents
the
are pensioners. So
I can tell you today,
imagine.
in several states, you get it, the issue of people who have not been paid for years.
My father has been waiting for his arrears for almost
in several
20 years.
states. And that's why I'm saying, and I'm insisting, that those who have been in the government before, none of them has been exceptional. None of them have been examples to us. All of them, practically all of them, have been very bad examples. If not, by now all of us should be agitating for one of them who we feel has done something very special, whether as chairman, as chairperson, as governor, or as president. None of them. All of them. And see, that is why I want Nigerians to talk about the issues. The issue is that from 1984 when World Bank and IMF imposed structural adjustment program on us, they have moved.
What did you call that? What did you say is imposed?
Yes, structural adjustment program was imposed. Let me tell you why it was imposed. Because
we understand that
the Babangida government came to Nigerians to ask them, do they want SAP or not? And Nigerians rejected it. But he still went ahead to impose it. And
it was clearly a military government.
Yes, so but since then, since 1984 to today, 95% of the industries owned by this country has been tacitly, tactically, physically, psychologically destroyed and killed till today. And that is why you can find a situation where the private profiteers in this country are using government money to invest in their own private business. And aside that too, these are the things that kills people's pensions. They don't care about those who have worked for the public. They don't care about those who have worked for Nigerians. And you can see that in that big mother calling from Badagry. It's not only her. A lot of Nigerians today are suffering from the fact that they have served this public, they have served Nigerians, and till today they don't get their pensions. And so what they are doing today in Nigeria is to kill the public service, is to tell you that government has no business in business, so that you won't be asking of pension. Somebody today was speaking at the ICANN conference and saying that Nigerians should be liberal to the extent that they should be borrowing money from the pension schemes and from the pension money that is on ground. And we had that same issue with the police pension fund, that somebody got to the place and swindle all the people there. You find soldiers, you find police officers till now. Many of them have served this country. have gone to wars and don't get paid. This is very bad.
You know the worst thing about that of the soldiers, once they die, even in war front or in the line of
nothing
duty,
comes to
their
their family.
is immediately evacuated from.
That's
from
one.
the
That's
barracks.
one. And then nothing
that's
comes
so
to
sad.
them.
It's
Nothing
bad enough
comes
they
to them.
lost. I mean, the breadwinner of the family, and they're also losing their accommodation.
nothing comes to
Mr.
them.
Kunle, we can't have enough of you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you
Kunle.
so much.
Wiseman Ajayi, for stopping by the studio. Thank you for putting perspective to most of the discussion that we brought to the front burner.
Thank you so much.
We do appreciate you so much. Hoping and looking forward to having more of you moving forward.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get to look at one of those issues biting you, because I see that
problem.
you're much more passionate
Very
about
much.
most of those
Very much.
human angle stuffs, right?
Yes.
We'll talk about them later on. Thank you so much, Lagos. That's it on this segment of the show. So we'll move to the next segment. Today we'll be looking at very weird and bizarre stuff, right? So do you believe in supernatural, the mystical, all of those stuffs that happen? Well, I hear that Balogun Market did catch fire on Sunday, and then some section of the markets or parts or some of the market people staged a protest on Tuesday against a particular woman whom they said that for the past almost 8 years, since 2008, her shop gets burnt every year. And every year she gets billed to rebuild even a finer shop every year. And people believe that there's more to it, than beholds the eyes. That there's more to it. There's some kind of supernatural or mystical power to what is happening, that those fire may not just be an ordinary fire. Do you think that there is any fire that is extraordinary? We'll get to talk about that after this break. Stay with us. Lagos is still the evening rush with your girl Precious. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
You are listening to your the number one station, the voice of the people, 90.3 FM. Do not touch that dial.
The award-winning pizza in the US is now here in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Romeo, the pizza champions, and cold berry ice cream, light in every scoop. Visit any of our outlets and feel the rich taste from the pizza champions and cold berry ice cream at 11 Road by Festa Avenue, Festa Town, 28 at Deniro Ogusanya Street, Surulere, 13 Admiralty Way, Lekki Phase 1. Romeo's Pizza and cold berry ice cream. Romeo, the pizza champions.
If you're looking for a place to relax and find comfort, the right place to be is the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, we offer excellent services to our clients and customers. We serve high-quality wines at our restaurant and bar, while our continental dish is second to none. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, located on 42 Muritala Mohammed International Airport Road, our rooms are in conformity with international standard and best practices. We accord priority to security for all our guests. Breakfast is free.
That's how I do.
Yay! And we have standard facilities for your seminar and training. For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-7003-333.
Ice on my neck, ice on my wrist, that's how I do.
Are you tired? Are you bored? Well, not anymore.
Somebody's coming to play.
Tune in to your favorite radio. At Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Now you have a voice.
Yes, now you do have a voice. I'd like to hear your thoughts and reaction on mystical powers, mysteries, things that happen. Now, this is a segment of the show where you get to air your thoughts, you get to vent, you get to rant, you get to say that thing that is bothering you, something that maybe, you've been thinking in your mind since, but it's been doing you. Who can I even tell this and who can I trust? This is the time for you to say it, right? But today we're looking at the bizarre, the extraordinary, the mythical, the all of those bugwayas joined together. So I'm going to play a voice you would hear. It's actually a video of something that happened in Balogu Market recently. So Balogu Market traders protested against their colleague over yearly fire incidents. Now, 2 days after the fire raised down Plaza in Balogu, which the fire happened on Monday, and on Tuesday, these traders who had lost hundreds of thousands, even millions worth of goods, came out to protest in their numbers against their colleague whose shop they said the fire rather emanated from. The plaza had gone up in flames on Sunday morning, October 9, right? And after it broke out from a fabric shop owned by a certain woman whose name I would not have to mention, but I mean, it's all there in social media so you can see it. So, staging a protest on Tuesday, October 11, the traders claimed the fire incident happens every year and it always starts from this particular woman's shop. Let me let you hear their voice. All right, like I did hear that as a voice. You could hear those voices there, down there, the pain, the agony. So the story goes such that, I mean, this has been going on for a long time, for a couple of years. And apart from the fact that it's been going on for a couple of years, there are people who this incident actually sends back to the village. They never get to come back again because they're never able to recover from the loss of these properties. Some of them go bankrupt. Some of them have even died because as a result of the heartbreak from this fire incident. And this particular woman in question, I mean, moves like nothing is happening, because immediately it happens, in less than no time she even rebuilds the building stronger and finer and better, and since she gets whether from insurance or stuff. So my point in this is the fact that people think is actually a bit mystical and not ordinary. So do you believe in supernatural? Do you believe that something like this, an incident like this, can happen and it is supernatural based? I still have Kunle in the building, because I mean, you picked interest on the story, right, Kunle? So I like to hear from you, really. So what kind of fire happens out of mystery, really, that isn't real arson?
If you've listened to Bob Marley's "Is a Natural Mystic Flowing Through the Air," you will understand that there are deeper physical hands controlling the spiritual. As far as I'm concerned, what is happening in Balogu Market, people should go and investigate what happened in Teju Osho. They should investigate what happened in Oshodi Market. When some forces are interested in taking over people's markets, this is what they do. Because till today, how Teju Osho got burned, there is no report of it. No government report of it. Which by law, the government should do investigations into arson. You get it? And let us know the cause of fire. Nobody has done that investigation. How Oshodi Market got burned today? No investigations.
Perhaps there's investigation, and I mean, the government has a right to
Where is the investigation?
Make it public or not make it public. How do we know there isn't?
Where if there were reports, we would have known and we would have looked for it to say, let's see it. And then if there was a report, even if they are not coming to public, they should have learned from that report. And I can tell you very much today, some people want to take Balogu Market. And that's why I'm advising those who head the market to investigate that woman very well. Investigate her political affiliations and investigate her background. And it may not be only her alone. If they start investigating this woman, especially as they protested against this woman, those people will change tactics. Several governments have taken over markets that way. Not only markets, mechanic shops have been taken over. All public spaces have been taken over because they want to privatize everything that belongs to the public. And that is what they are doing. So it's not a mystical
if you're
thing.
saying that someone wants to privatize something, so it's no longer supernatural now.
It's not supernatural.
So that means it's not mystical. Because these people who are agitating from the market are saying no, that it is not ordinary.
It's ordinary.
That somebody somewhere is going to somewhere else to press button and some powers
you know that when bad things they happen, we will think is mystical. You know, a very good instance is where people use people to do ritual and all of that. But investigations have shown that some people do it to sell human parts. So it's not mystical. And that's why I started with Bob Marley's song Natural Mystic, because if you think the thing is spiritual, if you do real investigation, you know that is some people somewhere who want to take over the market. And let me tell you something. When Teju Osho was burnt and it was taken over, did the marketers get back their shops? No. Go to other markets. Once they take it over, they hand it over to one Iyaloja somewhere, and that one privatizes the market. And once the place is rebuilt, they sell it so high that marketers cannot buy it. And at the end of the day, almost all the marketers there is either you become a street trader, you get it, or you go back to your house. And so that's what they do. They make sure that people on their own don't control the system, don't control the economic system.
All right, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, Lagos. Let's get to hear what you think about this. It is Voice of the People FM 90.3. So let's hear. Do you believe in mystical powers? Do you believe in mystery? Do you believe in the supernatural? Do you believe that things like this is not just driven by the ordinary? There must be something somewhere behind the realms of the physical that is controlling this kind of thing. Do you believe so? 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to reach us with. Hello, good evening.
Hello, pretty precious. How are you?
Oh my goodness, I like this hypo. Thank you, sir.
You will pay for it too.
I will pay small. I hope I can be paying small.
I don't want green goat too. I don't want green goat.
You will have to manage green goat too. So you heard that. Well done, sir. So let's hear your thoughts. Do you believe in supernatural?
Yeah, there is.
Oh wow.
Even
really?
God, even from the Bible. The Bible says, suffer not a witch to live. Daniel prayed for favor from God, and he said he had released the favor, but the prince of Persia did not allow the favor to get to Daniel until Angel Gabriel was deployed to intervene. Who do you call principalities and powers? They are there. There is no business that they are not there. If you are not one of them, you cannot move. Even they say that except you have the mark of a beast, you cannot sell. Revelations. So we have it, except you want to deny it to your own peril. They are there. The only thing is that these people, they know this woman, they have surveyed her, they know what she's doing. And they have every evidence. Are you getting what I'm saying? It is different from when government want to take over a market. If government want to take over a place, the place will burn down completely. Even fire brigade will not come there until the whole thing has been raised down. They will not allow anybody to access it. When Toji Osho was burning, no, there was no rescue, nothing. So there is a difference when government wants to take over a market and when some powerful forces are doing something. That is the difference. So we must separate it. That Balogu, how many times now? If government wants to take it over, they would have taken it over since now. They would have taken it over. But your colleagues are saying, you, this woman, the white cloth you are wearing and everything, you will suspect you. And they have all the evidence against her. So it's not about government, too. It's not about government. Let nobody be deceived. There are some powers. After all, when God chased down Lucifer from heaven, he didn't remove the powers from him. Is that not true?
Mm-hmm. So
yes,
weird.
And he has the apostles whom he's working with. So let nobody be deceived. There are powers, so in every business, in every sector, even in politics, if you are not among them, forget it. They will frustrate you.
You reach politics, I say.
Even in journalism,
I am telling you.
I have been in this profession for about 20 years. Why have I not seen some willy kind of things?
You are uninitiated, though. You are uninitiated.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling in, sir. All right, our phone lines are still open. It's 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. It is 0700 903 903 903. Let's get to hear your thoughts and reactions on this particular issue. Do you believe in the supernatural? Do you believe in physical? Have they done you from your village before? You know how they used to say they are following us from village. My village people will not let me, not mine. Your village people will not let you be great. Oh my goodness. See what they did. So there's also this story today that happened of a particular guy whom I think he was traveling abroad, and he got to he had been cleared halfway the airport, right? And he got to a particular stage and his international passport just disappeared, got missing. Let me take this call. I'm coming back to that. Hello, good evening. Hello. Oh my goodness, I lost that. So this guy, his international passport just disappeared. That also trended a bit on social media today, and for no reason. So a particular lady who says she works at the airport was following him up because she said she noticed him when he was cleared at the point he was, and then he moved further, and she was aware that he was looking for, his passport, and she decided to go ask him. And he came up to say, I have been cleared. I don't know what's happening. I wish I can get that video on people. Let's take this call first. Hello, good evening.
Huh?
Yes, please. Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, good evening, sir. Oh my goodness. I think I'm having dropped calls this evening. Please do well to call me back if you can hear me. And if you are there, I'll certainly love to take your thoughts and reactions on this. So, yes. So for this particular situation, the passport just disappeared from nowhere. Mystery. The powers that be carried the passport and jackpot. So this lady came to social media and said that if you are traveling, don't tell anybody anymore, because this thing that they used to say about village people is true. Because there is no other way to explain the fact that this man had been cleared halfway the airport, and the next thing his passport disappears. Do we call it carelessness? Hello, good evening. Help me turn off the volume on your radio set, please, sir. Help me turn off the volume on your radio set. Have you done that, sir?
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay, well done.
Good evening. Just financial power too.
Really? Have you seen it in action before on you?
There is my sister.
Can you share your story with us, please? I'd like to know.
I would have thought, but because of that your guest, I cannot talk, because what that your guest said, it discourage some of us from that your radio for your program. We like your program.
Ignore him. He does not exist in this conversation right now. Fine. Just go ahead and say your mind if you want to, please, sir. Oh my goodness. My guest, this thing you're doing to me is not good. How can you be doing this? My guest, you're making my listeners para now. This is not good now. All right, I certainly would love to hear your thoughts and reactions on this. If you think that you've experienced this before, I'd really love to hear from you. I'd love to hear you share your experience. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Mr. Desmond calling from Lagos.
Mr.
Desmond.
Mr. Desmond calling from Lagos. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Desmond.
Thank you. My lovely sister.
My lovely brother. Good evening.
We live in two worlds.
Oh, wow.
That your girl is not into business. He's not a trader. He's a civil servant and a politician. So you won't really understand.
So he doesn't know the cocoa of the matter.
You won't understand it. In as much as you climb to Pedloland Bridge and you want to be found in the morning, you will see sacrifices every corner before the roundabout. There is still a mystic in the market. I remember a house they want to break one day in Osho. And this house, when they want to break it, a particular shop, the women were not around. She had a breaking this house. She now have to look at it. She's mad, running to the place. Before she could get, they brought out a kind of a glass, just like a shoe glass. Behold, what inside this shoe glass? In this, how do I call this bed? There is a bed. She's training.
in the shop and is in that particular
What kind
shop.
of bed is it?
I don't know how to call it, but this is the one I saw myself. They told
Hope is
me.
it an
I
owl?
saw this
Is it an
bed,
owl?
like owl. These beds were training and it's featherless. As if they remove feather in his body every day. They remove one feather out of his body. And it's very heavy, but there's no hair on this bed. When this woman ran to that place, the strategy pick up from that place is taken out that particular oil out of the place. There is mistake in the market. It happens in those the market before it was broken. A particular man who sells electronics, the same thing happened there. It's only that shop that gets bought. I make the whole market get wrong. We're talking about plaza here, not the whole market. Let's make it clear. This particular one in Balogu is a particular plaza, not the whole Balogu.
Yes.
So there's a mistake. Something is switching somewhere.
And it's happening every year. For the past 5 years, it's been going on.
The plaza is not owned by government. The plaza is somebody's property. With a shop, it's a plaza, not a market. So something is switching somewhere. These people are not far from the truth. Let's be very honest ourselves. Something happens to the politicians too. They do things and get away with it. We want power. There's so many things that we don't reveal on air.
Wait. Okay. Are you saying that they're controlling us somewhere from their village?
My dear, see, formally they will tell you there's a poison they will put in your drink. That is automatic. It is like digital.
Okay, so I'm curious about something. If these politicians can control us from their village for dubious purposes, why can we, the citizens, not join all our winch together to control and expunge them and throw them away? Or probably to ensure we use that juju to develop our country?
It's the religion they are preaching to us. That's why they push us with religion on our head. That shall not do this. Pastor will preach. The mom will preach. But they don't listen to those things. It's the we who have heart that listen to the word of God. So they say that shall not kill. That shall not cheat your neighbor. That shall not do this. And when those people want to make heaven, those people don't care. They have sold that life to devil. And they're ready to depend it at any given time. They have sold their life. You see, are you telling me that our leaders don't see what is happening? How can I be a leader? And if people want to go to hospital in an ambulance, I want to be in a hotel for 5 hours and to give up. What is my joy? But they don't feel it. So they're hiding. How can I be? I want to go to Songwater. I will spend 8 hours instead of 1 hour to go to Songwater. And they want to go to Uber, go up there. I don't want to see me. Because they're hiding this. They have sold their life to the devil. They don't care about what the common man out there. They don't care. They don't want us to be happy. They drive their children crying every day. You will see a contractor doing a road of 4 lanes, and they leave half of the lane for almost millions of cars to pass through. They don't care. No feelings anymore.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your reaction. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. Still Voice of the People FM 90.3. It's the evening rush with your girl Precious. Yes. So certainly people are believing that there is something mystical and mystery that goes on. Before I take this call, I'd like to also play this for you. I just do hope that you can take a little time to listen to this. So this is about a lady who said she met a Nigerian guy who is supposed to be traveling to the abroad. As a matter of fact, she said lost passport at point of entry. Please, if you're planning to jackpot, listen to this carefully. Please stay discreet about it. And people that have been traveling since the 70s, 80s without telling anybody, they know better. And this has convinced her, to do it. Let's just hear what she said.
He didn't leave it there because he has gotten here at the boarding gate. The security has checked. He had his passport with him till he got here. So I don't know what happened, but please, I beg, if I'm your family, no tell me if they travel. Juju is real. Leaving my work to go and check for this guy, I swear to God. I just learned I saw him when he got there. Someone that was coming from Nigeria and is going to the US. So why is he going to lose his passport right at the boarding gate? I beg. If you want japa, not tell anybody. If you reach London, call me. I go pick him. If any of your family members are angry because you didn't tell them you want to japa, let them be angry. Let them stay mad. More juju is real, man. Let me go and meet him. Maybe they were able to find for him. Let me see. Ouais, j'avais vu à la salle d'embarquement. Il a payé son passage. Passport. Are you sure you didn't go to any restaurant?
I must have been here. I cannot drop it carelessly on my way to the gates.
This is so sad. What's the name? You are in Nigeria.
This is very mysterious.
It's mysterious.
I don't know how I put that.
So Lagos, did you hear what he said? He said this is very mysterious. I mean, because it doesn't seem like the ordinary. So in all of this, do we really believe in these kind of mystery? Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening. Oh my goodness. So phone lines are still very pretty much open. It's 0700 903 903 903. I'd like to take your thought and reaction on this. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay. Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening to you, sir. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Hello.
Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me? All right. I'm having dropped calls. I don't know why. I can't tell why. But I'll keep trying. I don't know if something is wrong with the phone line, but I'll keep trying. Let's see if this pulls through. Hello. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Very well. Good evening to you. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, my name is Prince. I'm calling from Major Estate.
Okay, so Mr. Prince, you've heard the two stories. The one of the markets.
Yes.
And in
yes.
the market and
I only heard one. I didn't hear the second one. I only heard one. The one the guy had that lost the passport insurance limit.
Okay, the other one is a story about people in Balogun markets that said this particular plaza gets burnt every year, and they believe it's not ordinary.
A lot of things do happen there, but I can only talk about the one I know.
Okay.
A brother of mine, has a cousin, he travels to Germany to buy goods. At least I know he has traveled more than 6 to 7 times. So normally Germany gives you about visa. So this last time he went, he got a contact of people who he doesn't need to travel again. He will just give them list of what he wants. They will send the goods for him. After he finishes selling, he will return the money. So after loading these goods, so his hands were dirty. He was with a friend. He now gave the friend the passport for him that he will, so that he doesn't go sending the passport. So he now washed up. After washing up, he set the passport and went into the train, going back to the city where he was staying. So while he was in the city on the train, the guy who was staying in his house called him, but the guy was traveling that night. So to direct him how he is going to move by train to get to the airport where he will not be leaving. So the guy now called and I said, okay, what is that your itinerary? Tell me your itinerary. I can tell you how you can enter train, what time you will leave and train time and all that. The guy now opened his bag where he kept his passport that was given to him inside the train. The passport had disappeared.
Off we go.
One hand, the passport was. He looked for the train, looked for the passport all over inside the train, stopped the train, searched everywhere. He has to go back to where he loaded because he knew. The guy said, I gave you this passport inside the train. It wasn't outside. So definitely, so anything can happen. They went back, searched for that. He had to get a paper from Nigerian embassy to come back. Now this boy came back when he came back, he went to German embassy with those people that gave him that thing. They now gave him 6 months visa. That day they gave him 6 months visa. He came back to his house at night. He became mad. That is mentally. That is started misbehaving, running around. As I'm talking to you now, that boy is now in the village, doing nothing. He will do this one. It will end up. So a lot of things happen. Anybody that is saying that thing is a mistake or so, that doesn't know what he's saying. Well, even the Bible says that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, even in dark places. So all those things are things we should be mindful of. We have to be prayerful. It's not about.
So he never got to see that passport again like this.
He never got.
Did they take him to some kind of mental asylum to know if maybe the whole situation triggered his mental health, and that's why he, went a bit psycho?
See, the issue of the passport loss was over. He got back to Nigeria.
But he clearly may be facing post-traumatic disorder. We cannot even know. We may not know.
No. Wait, you didn't understand my story. After the loss of the passport, he got back to Nigeria.
I am aware of
through a paper from the embassy. Now, he apply for another visa in German embassy. Now, when he got to the German embassy, they gave him visa. Now, this time, instead of 2 weeks, they gave him 6 months visa. Are you getting it now?
Yes, very well.
6 months. So he doesn't have to start traveling, coming to the embassy every time he wants to travel. So 6 months, with 6 months, he can travel about 6 to 7 times and come back. That day he got home with that passport and visa, the new passport and visa. He became started having mental problem.
As his leg just touched down home.
That is it's a very serious issue.
I have to say this in my father language. Are you serious?
I'm telling you honestly.
Okay.
Before now, I've done everything. Even to me, I bought a car for him. I asked him, what do you want to say? So he started doing transport. From transport, anything, the car just, as I'm talking to you, that car is parked. I don't even know what I want to do again.
Oh my goodness.
And because possibly, I can't really tell what exactly is the problem.
So my concern is people who do this, if they have powers to destroy, why can't they have power to build? That's what my concern is. If we can have powers to destroy each other, why can't we have power to use it to have multiple development, build in massive way?
That's our African people.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, Lagos, you did hear that, right? Oh my goodness. All right, phone lines are still open. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to reach us with. It is Voice of the People 90.3 FM, and it's still the evening rush with Precious. Kunle, can you now believe that there is power in the mystery, or there is something mystical? You don't want to believe yet. Maybe your village people will visit you before you know. And let me quickly take this call. Hello, good evening.
I want to be anonymous.
Please do. Please, you can very well be anonymous.
Normally, these things, normally happen in school. Yeah. What they say, they normally work.
Have you experienced any?
I experienced it when I was about 13 years. Okay. I used to go to school, but I usually follow my mother to sell market and trade sales. So when my mother used to sell food, so when my mother sell food, my mother will put the one that we keep us that we eat to school. So my mother will carry the other one to market where we sell it. So before my mother will get the one that my mother will put in, that we give us to eat, that one nothing will happen to that one. But the one that my mother will carry to market, before that time 9 o'clock or 2 o'clock, the food will get sour.
9 in the morning or 9 in the evening?
9 in the morning. My mother will
soup that they cooked that morning. Soup that they cooked that morning will spoil before 9 a.m.
Yes.
How?
I think that is a joke. My mother will tell me, because that time I was not expecting that this is not real. Until one day I saw it on my own. I checked it. Because I used to follow my mother. So that time, if I was not in school, I used to follow my mother to market. So when I was about 5 years, I experienced it. The one that my mother will give to us to me. Now, around 2 afternoon, you'll be okay. But the one my mother will carry to go to market. Now we get spoiled. When my mother went to go and find out, now she was with me. I told her, told him that it's not ordinary and someone is doing something to him.
Did you guys ever get to know the person?
Emma did not get to know the person. That's just they have customer deal where my house just left that business alone.
And that's how she left her business for someone she doesn't know.
I told you I was very shocked. 9 o'clock, the food will get spoiled. We bringing out water, bringing out water out.
And it's not maybe because the food was covered while it's hot and all of that drama.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much for sharing your story. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. No, Kunle, you cannot tell me that after hearing all these stories, you will not believe that there is mystery.
There is always
a science to everything. What's the science in all of this? What's the science in somebody losing a passport that was given to them in a train, inside the train, and that passport is nowhere inside the train? They did then darkness cover. They will not be seeing it.
There must be somebody tracing him somewhere.
And the person stole the passport from him in the train.
Why not? People steal things that you don't know about.
Come on. Okay, how about a soup that you cook that morning, spoiling that morning? How do you explain that?
Maybe the woman is competing with somebody.
I beg, just go, Joe. Let's take another call. I can't be believing all of this. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Yeah, Precious.
Yes, good evening, sir.
You know Ruben Abatiabi?
Of course, very well.
He was a former spokesperson for Jonathan.
We do know that.
When he left Aso Rock, he read an article, his experience in Aso Rock. You know the title of that article?
Remind us, please.
The Demon of Aso Rock.
Yes, I know that article.
Go and Google it.
We know. I've read that too.
Oh, you read it, Abby. So why are you doubting?
See, you know how we doubt what we've not experienced.
Impunity is the demon in Aso Rock.
This is the seat of power.
But this demon he's talking about is not just like a mystical demon now. I mean, it's more like
he was talking about the president being controlled.
Exactly.
Yes.
You said what?
He was talking about the president being controlled by some mystical power, some people, or that, and that many of the things they try to achieve.
Okay, that means you people are not aware. Hold on. When Abacha wanted to rule this country for life, he did something that nobody thought of. It was also during the Jonathan period that during one of their meetings and testimony time came, one man who told the Minister of Power then, neighbor, that all this power that all this NEPA that is not to do that Jonathan should do something about it. Professor Nebo told the man that look, any problem that we have, God is bigger than them. We don't have time for all those things, this and that. The man laughed at him and said, look, you don't know anything. He told him that successive government has been here. This is what they did, this is what they did, and he named them. That in the case of Abacha, he went extra mile because he wanted to rule Nigeria for life. He employed the worst of the worst sorcerers in Africa, and they went around the periphery of Nigeria and offered sacrifices.
Were you aware of those sacrifices?
Have anybody removed it up till now? Do you think Abacha was doing what he was doing with ordinary eye? By the way, how do you think that Nigeria can be in this type of situation and we are not complaining?
We are complaining.
Because we're complaining.
After what we went through in 4 years, in another 4 years, the 2019, we still voted again. Do you think it's ordinary?
It's ordinary,
if
sir.
If you are hypnotized, you won't know what you are doing, no?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miss.
Let me
you won't know what Nigerians have been hypnotized. I said it before.
Sir, let me just explain something.
How come some people are speaking up now, though?
Sir, let me explain something.
How many of you are speaking up? How many of you?
Sir, do you know that from 1999 to today...
They will have their way.
Sir, do you know that from 1999 to today, there have been over 9 general strikes by the NLC, TUC, and Labour generally. There have been 2 major upheavers, January Uprising and the EndSARS Youth Revolution. In a whole lot of countries, it doesn't happen. What is needed? No, is the outcome? It was aborted.
We are talking about something.
It was aborted, but it's a revolution postponed. See, what is happening in Nigeria? What is happening in Nigeria is that our rulers, they are in charge of the prevailing idea. Before we had newspapers like this, we have radios like this. Before, you couldn't just get a radio easily. you have to get the government to give you a lot of things. You have to get some big people. It was only the big people that handled the radio. So they were using.
That is why.
They were making sure that you didn't hear many things. Many of the things that we are hearing now were not being heard. The internet is opening up the spaces. The civic spaces were closed up. The media spaces were closed up because the government was in charge of the prevailing idea. So that's why we think all of these things are spiritual. No. That's why Nigerians are rising. That you yourself now, you are saying this shows that people are rising. It's not only you that is thinking. If not just that they do before, it don't spoil. As internet don't do, many people don't rise. So what did they do before now to control how they think? They control the newspapers, they control radio, they control TV.
As advanced as America, let me educate your guests. As advanced as America is, the Illuminati are controlling the seat of government in America.
It's not true, sir.
Is the Illuminati even real? A lot of people have not been able to
really substantiate
that Illuminati
your $1 bill. Go and take your $1 bill. The sign of the Illuminati is there.
It's not
$1 bill. Go and check it.
Thank you
so much. What we call an Illuminati is like what do you have in Nigeria? They are just cult groups.
Don't joke with it. Don't.
They are just cult groups. You have them in Nigeria. You have Rosicrucians. You have different cult groups.
If you say they are not there, go and join their club now. Go and join their club and see what happens.
Now cult groups them.
Some people are controlling this world. Don't deceive yourself.
Thank you so much.
And they are people, not spiritual. Now human beings they control.
Thank you so much for your thoughts. All right, okay. Still Voice of the People FM 90.3. Still the evening rush. Mr. Kunle, stop this thing you're doing. People are telling you things that happen from the village, and you're talking about science. What is the empirical evidence to why things are happening
I come from one of the most spiritual areas.
So you know that it's something called spirituality.
But what I also know is that the spirit is controlled by human beings.
Also, you know that. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mark.
Yes, very good evening to you. What's your name and where are you calling from? My name is Precious.
I go by the name Sergeant Mabudo Mother Maseka Zamukano, and I'm still the very same Slyman Adams. Yeah, I've heard a lot of stuff they said this evening, and it's kind of nice to hear the last man as he explained from his own perception. Though, you know, the world today revolves around science and all this advanced stuff. But basically, we Africans, we have this belief that there's power, and this power is being controlled by dark forces and all this stuff. I won't really say much about the issue of passports or so, you know, getting missing and stuff like that. Because we all know, as Africans, that these things are real. There was a report in my vicinity some time ago, there was this lady they summoned when they realized that a little girl was.
Hello?
The first time I witnessed an event like that was around.
Oh my goodness! I hate to see you go. I would really love to hear that story. If you can hear me, you please kindly call back. Let's get to hear that. Maybe this will help Kunle believe some more that there's something called there's something mysterious. All right. Hello. Good evening to you.
Hello.
Help me turn down the volume of your radio set, please.
Can you hear me?
Very well. I can. Help me turn down the volume on your radio set, please, sir.
Okay, let me do that.
Thank you. Please, we really do not need to hear the whole back.
I'm Mr. Fan Pascal, calling for motion.
Okay, Mr. Thank you. But I can still hear that whole back.
Okay, hold on. Let me bring down the radio. Can you hear me?
Very well. Fine, very well.
Okay, please, sir. Please, my daughter. Voice of the People is giving me a joy that I love to hear every night. Because of this at a Golden Trip Hotel at the airport road here. I'm living close to there. I don't listen to any station except that station. Yeah, but the guest is invited is like I may campaign so that we that are enjoying it will stop listening. Look, what that guy out from the studio. That guy is not worthy. I don't know where he comes from. There's spiritual, there's devil. Even there is a house that you will rent here in Lagos. If you look at the block, Coupling block,
When he enter that house, I bet you, my sister, no progress. If you pack in there with two car, I bet you will go away with the bicycle.
I've heard that before, but is this really real?
Why this guy is doubting what he does? Is he doubting that he knows his father? What type of money is? And please, I wanted to contribute. I could have told you what happened to my elder brother.
Please, I'd like to hear. I would really like to hear what happened to your elder brother.
Okay, now my brother is palm tree.
Palm tree.
That's why I'm telling you, a palm tree. My own a palm tree ripe at up. Then my brother will go and cut it down.
Cut it, yes, to make palm oil now, right?
Yes, and that is his business. So long.
There are usually people who are experts who do that business. Their expertise is to climb that tree.
So
yes.
now, my elder brother now climb one tree in somebody's house anywhere as he normally do. After cutting the tree and the palm tree and the palm himself, going to come down, then call it Allah. So there was a man that passed nearby there, according to him. They know did him that as he was coming down, he now saw that the land is already close to him.
Oh.
So for him to remove the rope he used and climb, we call it ete. For him to remove that ete, he never knew that he have not go half down to the ground.
Oh my goodness.
This is how this young man was struggling with a rope, with a palm tree. Finally, he fell down. I'm telling you, I am the one that took him to Bamise Ekoma. Yeah, I'm from Anambra State. I took my elder brother to Ekoma. The man in question killed, I'm sorry to tell you this man killed a pregnant goat to make sure that my brother is survived.
But is your brother fine now?
Yeah, it's not okay. It's nonsense.
Is he back to his business?
The man told him, after that the treatment, the man told him he should stop climbing pantry.
Okay, but the native treatment he was given cured him. I mean, healed him.
Yeah, very, very. I tell you, I'm telling you, it was someone that directed me there. So someone telling me there's no juju. That man, I wish it's in the market where Ladebo. If you come to the Ladebo, you see power. In the midnight, in the midnight of 1 o'clock, and a take order. They come inside his shop, opposite the shop, with Buffett at hour of 1 o'clock. I mean, this man is doubting his father. He's doubting what he does. He's doubting the age that senior him. What kind of person he is?
Thank you.
If you if you come down to Report Road before DHL, there is millions of sacrifice. You will see some different state of animals. What are they doing? Are they giving it to God or are they giving it to ghosts? That's not somebody without what you don't know. Not that you will say you don't know about it. That is, if you don't believe Satan, bye. If you believe in God, there is millions of gods in this world.
Thank you.
Like what you look at what is happening in Balogu every year, the same plaza. Every year, the same plaza.
This seems very scary, though.
Yeah, look at how matches are shouting. You must go. You must go. You must go. Definitely. Well, I'm not in Balogu, but those people that they know what they have saw it, witnessed it, witnessed it. Things is happening terrible. There is people in this world, they don't eat oil. They don't eat red oil.
Why?
They don't eat red oil.
Why?
Because
what does it do?
Because we wear them long. Something red. It's their covenant. They don't eat anything red. They don't eat anything. What they eat is vegetarian soup or other vegetable. They can eat cucumber or watermelon all the days of their life.
They must eat everything green all through. So egusi soup is far from them like this.
I have many of them. I know many of them, but I will not continue mentioning them.
Okay.
I don't know how. Yeah, this is my first time caller.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to you. I wish I have some shekere or some bell. I would have danced for you. Thank you so much.
I'm clapping for you.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Kunle, so I think, but good night, sir. So the thing is, truthfully speaking, before they came, this is how we were, right? We believed in our own powers. We believed in our own religion. We had our own religion, we had our own fetishes, we had our own thing, and it worked for us without science. So if it works for us,
our own fetishes were scientific too.
But were they proven? And can they still be proven to be scientific?
Have you read what I wrote in How Europe Underdeveloped?
Let's just wrap up this show so we don't keep having this back and forth. Thank you so much, Lagos. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mr. Kunle Wiseman.
Thank you so much for having me.
Incidentally, we'll jam tomorrow.
No problem.
Okay, then, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, it's been the Voice of the People FM Evening Cruise with your girl Precious. It's been an amazing evening with you. So every Wednesday, we'll be looking at, some of this mystical stuff. So let's just dig out these things. Are they really true? Do you think these stories are actually true? I have a lot of call coming in, but unfortunately I do not have time to take those calls anymore because my time is up. So I'll be going to bed now. See you tomorrow, and we'll be looking at other things, but more importantly, tomorrow on the show from 8 p.m. we'll be looking at World Mental Health Day, which was celebrated on Monday 10th of October. I'll be bringing a consultant psychiatrist who'll be looking at mental health issues. They said we have over 70 million people in Nigeria that have one form of mental health ailment or the other. Are you part of them? How do you know? How would you know how to take care of yourself? Lagos, let's keep it day tomorrow, 6 to 9 p.m. My name is Precious. See you tomorrow.